Hello crafty friends, I am Beth and I am here to talk to you about the knitting things that I have gotten into this week. I'm a knitter from the Chicago suburbs and I have a day job as a teacher's aide, and I am knitting as much as I can in between the day job and the family and everything else. And today I will be talking to you about my works in progress and new to me things, as well as today I have a winner to announce. So I have been hosting, along with multiple other podcasts, the Berroco Cal, and this is a knit along for the Berroco, which is a pattern by Marie Wallin, and I personally on my channel am drawing quarterly prizes for this. So last week I had talked about what those prizes will be. So if you are interested in seeing them again, please head on back to that video, and I showcased them extensively. So the list of podcasters running it will be right here, and my hashtag somewhere on the screen too. So the winner of this is Stephanie Benson 1 on Instagram. So congratulations, Stephanie. Please get in touch with me and let me know what your choice is of the yarns that I have available to you for the prize. Up next normally would be what I'm wearing, but it's summertime and I'm just not in the mood to wear knits today. So on to, I have not finished anything. Wish I had something that I finished, but no, I'm working on a lot of different things, and I've made a decision about something that I can talk about. So last week I had talked about whether or not I wanted to, or which of the projects I wanted to work on. And for the Shark Week Challenge, run by Politically Incorrect Knitters, I decided that I am going to go ahead and use my Knitty McPurley Dubrovnik DK colorway is called Thistle. It's a lovely lavender color, and I will go ahead and use that to knit the Row by Row Sampler Cowl by Irene Designs. And I've got two here that were different skeins, and they do look like they've got a little bit of a different color to them. I'm going to start with the bigger skein, and if I need to go to the other part, we'll see if that needs to happen at all. So obviously that's not even started, but when I post next week, I expect to have quite a bit of that done, because Shark Week starts on July 11th. So that's Tuesday of this coming week. And I usually record on Fridays. So I think that I can reasonably get quite a bit of that done in those few days. I mean, it's one skein of yarn and it is in a DK weight, so I feel like that'll go pretty quickly. And while it is textured, I kind of think it's gonna happen fast. So as far as finished objects, does that count? I made a decision. I'm not good at that, as we've discussed in the past. So for works in progress, last week I showed this yarn. This is Berroco Tiramisu. It is wool and mohair and some other things. It is super soft and fluffy and lightweight. It is a DK weight yarn, And I did show last week what pattern I'm planning to do. That is Rena, and it is by Alison Green. And I don't think I said anything about it last week. But I know, look at this. I am loving the tones of this colorway. Oh, the colorway. My brain is going in all different directions. Let me slow down. Firstly, the colorway. I did not have that last week, but I went on Berroco's website this week and I saw that it does have a name, even though it's not on the yarn band. It is called Bomboloni, which I love. I don't know. It maybe means something, or maybe they made it up. I don't know, but I think it's fun to say. Bomboloni. It sounds Italian. Is Berroco Italian? Maybe it is. That sounds like it could be Italian too. I don't know. It's fun to say though. Anyhow, so I am crocheting this sweater, and I have like, I think 5 squares now done, and you can see that I have not yet sewn in my ends, and I will definitely be regretting that at some point in time. And then I'm doing like a bunch of squares and triangles, and man, these triangles go so fast. Like at first I was like, wow, these squares are so fast, and now I'm doing the triangles, and the triangles are even faster. So my thinking was, let's do both of them at the same time because they are so fast to get through. So my personal promise to myself on this is 1 square and 1 triangle every day, and it's easy to get through those. And sometimes I end up doing more than 1 in a day because they're quick and easy. Now, before I had started this, my quick and easy project was the same one that I saw Colleen, Selfish Knitter, post a completed object of on Instagram this week. So I'm a little bit jealous. So these socks, my watermelon socks, this was my simple project at the start of probably like the weekend. I was doing this, but I've gotten past my heel flap and gusset, and I am now onto the foot of these. This is just a vanilla sock, so no special pattern. The yarn is Brenda and Heather yarns, and it is their summer remix. So they're so fun. I love this watermelon thing. It is such a very summery thing, and these socks are going to be very warm and not so summery feeling when I do finish them. But I wear socks in the house. When the air conditioning is on, I do wear my socks in the house all the time because my feet get cold quickly. So that could be my around the house summertime socks. And my last whip, I'm not calling it that. My next whip is the Lionshead top by Irina Anikeeva. And this is, I am knitting it in Mode Knit, let me look, ModeSock Plus. It is I believe a discontinued base by Mode Knit in St. Paul, Minnesota. And this is a wool and bamboo blend, I think. I've talked about it on previous videos. So this is how far I've gotten on this. Now, this is the shoulder. Isn't that such a cool, like that line on my shoulder? I'm gonna love wearing that. and then this is the back. So it is a sideways knit tee, and I'm really excited about it. I am getting the gauge that I thought I was going to get based on my gauge swatch. It does not meet the gauge of the pattern though. And I talked about in a previous episode how I decided how to calculate what I wanted to do as far as the size I wanted to knit based on my own gauge. So I kind of found out after casting on, and I could have easily read this and figured out and understood this from the beginning if I had the patience to read through the pattern to the point that I would know where I'm starting in the chart. So I had counted the number of charts across that I saw in the different sizes that I saw on the projects on Instagram or on Ravelry. And what I didn't count on is that you start in the middle of a chart on the side. So I am seeing now that I have part of a chart that will be on the front and part of that same part of the chart that'll be on the back. And I'm going to have 2 inches more, I think, on each side than I thought I was going to have. So now I need to decide. Right now, I want to measure again because I'm feeling like, is that really true? And that sounds like a whole lot, because that's 4 inches more ease than I was counting on. And I was already looking at 4 inches of ease on my body. And I don't want 8 inches of ease on a summer top. That would be way too much. That would be like, I'd be drowning in it. I may have to rip this out and start over again. But here's the other thing I was thinking. As I was going through this and kind of thinking about this might be bigger than what I thought, I don't have to, I think. I don't have to. This would be the right side of my top as I make it. And so this would be where I would be sewing together up the side. I'm thinking I could fold it in and seam it further in than what it actually, than rather than 3 needle binding off at the edge, which is, I think, what the pattern says to do. And that would mean that I have less ease, but I might have more bulk inside, which I also might not like. So we'll see. Apparently my dog doesn't want to go for a walk. So that's where I'm at with this. These sideways knit things, you guys. All right. So speaking of sideways knit, I want to talk about my Nomad Tee. Nomad Tee is designed by Rachel Illsley. And I have worked on this numerous times over the last year. This project has gone on long enough. I need to work on it, get it off my needles, and wear it because I love it. I totally love it. I love the colors. I think it looks amazing. I just need to, and I think it fits with decent ease too. So the question is, will it be twisting on my body? So I have all this ribbing done. And my intention is to duplicate stitch some color work on here. But I have this on waste yarn right now, And as far as what I'm doing with the bottom of this, the last time I talked about it, I had tried it on. I thought it was twisting too much. I wanted to rip out the ribbing and re-pick up the stitches and redo the ribbing. So I definitely want to look at this before the end of the month. Because the reason that I'm getting back into this is because I'm thinking about the summer knits, and I know that, you know, once September hits, for sure, I'm going to be like, I'm not going to work on my summer knits. When am I going to wear that? I might have a warm day in October that I can wear it. But I know that, you know, as I'm knitting in September, I'm going to be thinking, I want my warm knits for the fall and winter. So I don't want to put this off another season. I don't want this to, you know, come back to March to the finish for me. So just thought I would kind of mention it again and throw it in that, you know, you might be seeing this again in the not too distant future. I don't really know what I want to do with it, but it's sort of been that fluff your stash kind of Texas peach knits feel. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please check out Texas Peach Knits on Instagram as well as here on YouTube. The other summer knit that I have is not a sideways knit tee. This one is Joni top by Natasja Hornby. It is being knit in Apothefaery Fabrications merino linen. And I looked it up today to see if there was a colorway, and I'm not sure that this is the actual colorway, but it says Hearth Fire, and it looked very similar to this. So if you're interested in this colorway, this yarn, check them out. I have a link below. So I was looking at this one again because I was thinking about all my summer knits, and this, I'm looking at the fabric because I had gone way up in needle size thinking that I wasn't getting gauge, and I'm looking at this, I know I'm not getting gauge, and I was thinking I was going to be doing it in a different gauge with a size that would work for me. And now I'm looking at the fabric that I'm getting and I'm not liking it as much. So who knows what future me will do with this. I'm thinking I may, this I'm more likely to rip out and restart because I feel like I don't have a whole lot of this done, and I did it so long ago that it doesn't feel like such a heartbreak to undo it, because I want the finished object. I really do. I wish it was easier to get finished objects. It's so, my summer knits, you guys, I'm having the hardest time with. I need to get it together. I feel like I can never make up my mind because I get to these stopping points where I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to put it off to the side. And I feel like I have too many of those. All right, on to the new to me. This week, well, I think last week, I ordered 2 new skeins for my Ingrid sweater. So I'm going to show that real quick. I was running out of yarn for the sleeves. And this is my Ingrid sweater. It is a pattern by Petite Knit. All that's left to do on this is the sleeves. So I had ripped out some of the sleeves because I didn't like I didn't like the way it looked on me. And there was, it just looked like this big circumference around my arm that reminded me of, is it Saturn that has the rings? I just felt like there was this extra bulk of fabric, and that I want to maybe alter, you know, do some kind of modification to make the sleeve fit me in a way that I like better. But part of the problem was that I was running out of the main colorway, and that's because I think I did the body longer, and so I didn't account for that in the amount of yarn that I had. So I bought 2 new skeins of DK weight, a Walk in the Woods colorway from Barnyard Knits. I had seen a post from them on Instagram where they said that they had some new things in the shop, and I thought, let me take a look. Let's see if they just happen to have this colorway in the yarn that I am looking for. And they did. So it was perfect. It was perfect. It was just what I needed at the time that I saw it. So I picked it up, and I'm happy to have that. And potentially that's a pair of socks to match the sweater too. Okay. The other new thing that I got this week was from 3 by the Sea Designs. If anybody watches Kay, the Crazy Sock Lady, she had knit, I think, 2 different pairs of shorty socks in this sock set. And I thought, oh my gosh, I love this combination. So I am going to knit some socks out of this, whether they're shorties, whether they're long, I don't know. But that's the plan. So that's all the new to me things. I'm pretty sure. Yes. Now on to the comments. And I can't remember if I said this, but I can't see all of your comments. So, one of my commenters, Doris, was talking to me about being like other podcasters, and she had said that she liked how natural and off the cuff that I am, which, thank you, Doris. I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate you saying that. I do think I know that I am off the cuff. I try not to be overly rehearsed, because I feel like that kind of takes away from the spontaneity of what happens. And I think that spontaneity is often the most entertaining thing when you're watching a YouTube video. So I personally prefer spontaneity. When it seems like somebody's overly rehearsed, those are the kinds of videos that I kind of am like, okay, like, you know, entertain me more. Talk to, like, that's why I feel like people who are doing a podcast with multiple people, it's more entertaining when they are together in person, because spontaneity is easier together in person, because it's almost like there's a vibe that people get together. And when you are like relating remotely, that spontaneity is more difficult, because, like, for one thing, if you talk at the same time somebody else is talking, you can only hear one person, and so you don't get that nuance. And then also, it seems like, I don't know, there's just like a personal interaction thing. It just seems so much more natural when people are together in the same room. So, Sharon said, I looked up that crochet sweater too after seeing it on Carista. So the Rena sweater in the Berroco Tiramisu. I had seen it initially at the Knitty McPurley retreat when Carista Lowe of Sweet Mountain Crafts was wearing it, and it was just gorgeous. I just wanted that. And she says, I'd love to make it someday. I'm going to make the Fine Art Cowl by Colleen Kinnersley for Shark Week. So she is also planning to participate in the Politically Incorrect Knitters Shark Week. It has a wavy pattern like waves in the ocean to fit the theme. I like that. I wish I had something that was fitting the theme better, but I wanted to go with something I was already planning to make and already had the yarn for, in a fluffier stash kind of theme, which has nothing to do with Shark Week. So she says, however, I won't frog it if I don't finish. I'll just be disqualified from the prize draw. So that's, I like that, you know, be independent, be you, do your own thing. And from what I've heard from them, they're giving stickers to you just for participating. And then at the end, there's a bigger prize draw. And if you don't want to be included in that prize draw, go ahead and just keep going, keep knitting if you're not done yet. I love it. And she said she also bought this that I showed last week, which was from Wyoming Yarn. It's a project bag with some mini skeins, and she also doesn't know what she's gonna make with it. So, woohoo! Okay, so Susan, and this is not the Susan who made this bag and usually comments on my videos. A different Susan said, I wouldn't recommend knitting the sampler cowl with variegated yarn, which I'm assuming she's talking about this one, because I had suggested that I was either going to use this or this for the sampler cowl. Now, I will say, when I was looking at this one, I thought of it more as like a tonal than a variegated, so I can see why you would look at that and think variegated as opposed to tonal, because there's pretty deep, this looks like speckles, and I think it might be, you might lose the pattern in that, which is what she says. Yeah, you'd probably lose the beautiful stitch definition, which I think she's right. I think this probably is better in a different pattern that has either a stockinette stitch or less detail to the stitch pattern. And this, because it really is, this is just plain tonal. There's no speckles, there's no major variegation in it. Totally agree, Susan. I think you're right. And that was part of my determining factor in using the yarn that I chose. But I can't start it yet. I can't start till Tuesday. Stephanie of Texas Peach Knits also saw the wool needles hands destashing that I had talked about last week, and she said, I like to think I started a popular trend, but probably not. And I was thinking, yeah, you know, I was hoping she would mention her, but you know, oh well. So yeah, and that is pretty much everyone who commented. I mentioned Doris, Susan, Stephanie, and Sharon. Those, if I missed your comment, I apologize, but I do not have all of the comments that were on last week's episode. So please feel free to comment below, and I will talk about your comments as well as whatever I'm knitting, including my cowl next week. And I'll let you know how my progress is going next week. Comment, like, subscribe, survive and thrive. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.